Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with, I want to say, a rather, I don't know what the word is. This is a prospectively better game, and it's going to be between Midday and our Barcode Protoss in the lower right-hand corner. I'm not going to give them any epic introductions, because I really think it kind of wastes just a little bit of time. But anywho, it looks like this is a rather legit game. I don't remember this dialogue between either of players, and it's a Barcode facing off against Midday. All I know is that both of these guys are kind of upper end GM, and by upper end I mean they are in the top 100. But these players, I don't think I could find a closer game, really. I didn't review the replay, so this is actually fresh content that you guys are watching. I don't like to review the replays because I don't like to preview the replays and then cast them, because honestly that just ruins the entire thing. If you guys want to know how exactly I try to measure them, it's actually by file size. I won't give away too much. I won't give away too much information by saying this, but rather by file size, you kind of get the idea of how long a replay can last. After a while, it gives you some perspective. You just know, you can feel how long the game is going to last just by looking at the replay. Excuse me, not by looking at the replay, but just looking at the file size of the replay. It's measured in kilobytes, and I'd say the longest one that I have ever casted has been 130 something kilobytes. So that's actually a late game replay. By the way, guys, go ahead and hit that follow button. You know, I love getting feedback on just how I'm doing when I'm casting. It doesn't matter to me just how or who gives me what kind of feedback. It's just nice to know, you know, even if there's a troll posting on one of these videos, it's nice to know that at least someone's watching. Alright, first gateway finishing up. And this is rather interesting because we don't see gas following it, and we don't see a cybernetic score going down. I'm not entirely sure what the price of a cybernetic score is. Just minerals. And this is actually, wow, this is one of those openings that just makes me go dark. This is one of those super high, you gotta read into it kind of psychological openings, if you will. Like, I can't see what this Protoss is doing. 9 times out of 10 in PvZ, what we see Protoss is doing is Forge, Fast, Expand. And, oh wow. We actually have our Zerg player going for a Speedling opening. His aim with these Lings, at least the first set of Lings that he's going to make, is to maybe kill a few probes, maybe get his opponent to pull probes off the line, and wow, my god. This is one of those things that just doesn't make sense to me anymore. There's a lot of gas being taken this early in the game. I don't know what to make of this. Something about this just screams Skytoss to me. But let's just wait and see where things go. Cybernetic score is kind of in a forward position. And it looks like we have one drone left on gas. I really like this because I do it myself. And do we have any Lings in production? No, but we do have 2 that are out on the map. They're basically trying to find any probes, like the one that's running right by them right now. And silence any pylons that they may throw down. Interesting position to put on the Overlord. I will have to remember this for the ladder. That's actually quite the beautiful bit of scenery right there, isn't it? Just, oh, yeah. You know, Belshir Vestige, excuse me, actually, one of the more beautiful maps, but if you look at it on the minimap, it kind of looks like, I don't know, ramen noodles with a boiled egg splattered all over it. We do have the Mothership Core out on the map now. Let's just see where it is. Ah, here. And the goal of this Mothership Core should just be to get a look at the main, see exactly what kind of tech there is. Third going down about, let's see here, 40 seconds ago for Zerg. That's rather timely considering the fact that the Zerg went for a Speedling opening. And this is a full wall off now, basically. As long as the Zealot stays here, you should be fine. But there's also a sentry here to reinforce, and we have a cannon going down as well, because without that cannon you basically got insurance that Zerglings can put some pressure on the cybernetic score wherever they so please. We also have a Stargate going down, just a single one for now. But wait. What? Hold on just a second. Breaker is blind today. There's actually only there's only two gateways. So now here it is. We actually have our first Phoenix on the way. And I'm thinking, okay, with this kind of a build, with this kind of an opener, I think the goal of it will be to basically crank out some Phoenixes, do some economic damage, maybe kill a few queens, and then continue it with maybe a robotics bay with 3 immortal timing. There it is, the robotics bay. Yes. Okay, there we go. I will have to remember this. I'm actually getting too old for this game, I think. You know, there's just so much, you know, I mean, David Kim, he says no one is even close to figuring out this game. I'm guessing maybe he's got all the algorithms in his head for just what unit compositions are legitimate strategies, but of course he's not going to divulge it to us because that makes the product that he made worthless upon release. Now we do have 3 Phoenixes here. We have a 4th one in production, of course being chrono boosted out. That being critical because you have to get those Phoenixes out ASAP to do as much damage as possible, because without the damage being done by them, these Phoenixes have to do damage, by the way. Otherwise they're basically near useless. Especially given the amount of drones that our Zerg has already made. Oh, and there's an Overseer here. Before I can get any more information, these Phoenixes are going to try and shut it down. It does finish. Morphing, luckily, and from the cocoon that the red HP cocoon that it was, it actually only saw the Phoenixes. And now we have more gateways being tacked on. And Toss has moved out. Okay, so there it is. Oh man, double Spore Crawlers and double Queens at the natural. Hydra's in production. This is actually not a good starting position for our Barcode Protoss. Midday actually having quite a strong, strong-ish start. Roof Spines as opposed to Muscular Augments on the way. So I'm thinking this is kind of a turtle up by Midday, if you will. He's not spreading creep right now. He actually only has a minor, an extremely minute number of creep tumors out on the map. Phoenixes, of course, are going to shut down this overload that's spreading creep. Does supply blocking Midday for even just, you know, a few seconds. And they're going to come over here and shut down this overlord. I'm pretty sure Midday is accounted for losing this one. But if we check resources lost right now, for Zerg, it's only double that of Protoss. If these Phoenixes were to really pay for themselves, then they would actually have gone in here and, you know, picked up quite a few drones on gas. If they could, I don't know, this is actually interesting. Midday, he's really trying to make use of everything that he's got. Not going for the 6th gas at his disposal just yet. And the Phoenixes are trying to come back in again. It looks like they got caught by something out here that shoots up. Looks like these Hydras maybe. Spire on the way, interestingly enough. The Phoenixes, I wonder if they're going to go in and see that. They did not. They don't even see just what our Zerg has in general. But here we go. The Observer was shut down. That's been shut down. And now Barcode is entirely aware of his opponent moving out, but it's alright. He does have Colossus. Do they have the range upgrade? I hope so. Yes, they do. And Twilight Council is on the way as well, so that means we could see some... We're going to see some Blink Stalkers most likely. Infestation Pit on the way. It's almost as though Midday is trying to play classic Wings of Liberty style. And a couple of cannons being tacked on at the 3rd. I wanted to say there was a small window where he might have been able to do some damage. There was only 1 immortal in that. But of course the splash damage from 2 Colossi might have been enough to just drive that attack back. And for now, we have just Roaches and Hydras piling up because the present composition that we have from Barcode, I think he won't be able to Raffle Stomp it at all. We do have Blink on the way right now. It looks like we don't have any more significant tech up, but we do have a couple of assimilators being tacked on as well. Plus 2 ground weapons on the way for Protoss, and now those Phoenixes are really being put to use with supply blocks. Corruptors are out and on the way, so I'm a little curious to see just how they are going to be used in this matchup. And the Overlords are all gathering over, over the Spore Crawler over there. That Queen did not have enough for a transfuse, so I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, if the Phoenixes continue to persist, they would have maybe taken down that one Overlord. It looks like this Phoenix might be in trouble. No, he's in orange health, lower orange HP, so he's good to go. But this one is probably one of the luckiest Phoenixes I've seen in a while. And this is one of the unluckiest things you can do as Protoss. Just swing by just before your opponent is going for their third. Barcode has not read into that, but let's see here. We do have Zerg Flyer attacks on the way from midday. I believe this is not my first time casting him, but I want to say that this looks like he's kind of exploring some kind of a new strategy I can't quite read into. I remember back in the day when the Infestors first got a nerf, Destiny trade the unit tester map with some friends, and he was basically doing some micro battles and things of that nature, and he's like, okay, great, so what do I do in the mid game to take down a Protoss army with Colossi? And that's a good question, because we're about to see whether or not Roach Corruptor Hydra works out with the Mothership Core in the mix. If this attack fails, what we could see is the Mothership Core calling a recall, mass recall. Corruptors are attacking whatever shoots up, and it looks like they were prioritizing the Warp Prism, but that's not going to pan out. If he actually didn't want this army to run away, he would have probably shot down the Mothership Core, but it looks like this could end up costing Zerg his fourth base. Let's look and find out. Just wait and see. Mothership Core did fall. The Colossi are now getting targeted down by the Corruptors. There's only 3 of them left, and what was once a happy, healthy Zerg army is now nothing but a handful of Hydras. Oh boy. And there's the one lucky hero Colossus back there sniping all of the Hydras. They do actually get a buff versus light units, if I'm not mistaken. No. They're just naturally good against anything light. And Zerg loses his 4th base, but it's alright because he still has this one all the way over here, and he's replacing drones on them right now. I believe Protoss is entirely oblivious to this. Looks like the Lings are coming by, making sure that Protoss didn't expand for his own 4th. I want to just say that right now Zerg is on 3.5 base. I say 3.5 because he didn't have any workers here. It was not thriving, if you will, before, and basically, yeah. But Protoss is now catching up. He is also on 3.5 base as well. That is not to, just don't make a mistake when I say that, guys. I actually mean both players are on 3.5 base right now because they're, well, actually, this is more like 3 1/4 since there's no mining and it's not even possible to start mining from this. The reason why it's more accurately put as 3.5 base, maybe 3 3/4 base for Zerg is because they can use the hatchery to produce units. It looks like the Warp Prism over here is going to try and get some units out and do some damage there, but unfortunately, this is kind of a crappy timing for midday. It's just not going to favor him at all. There's a lot of Stalkers here in the composition, luckily enough for him. But 1 for 1, I believe Stalkers cannot take on Hydras. I'm not entirely sure. Like, Hydras barely hold their own ground versus them. And now we have Broodlords in the mix, so we're going to see kind of a classic-ish Wings of Liberty composition. Void Rays are now in production-ish for Barcode Toss. We do have Psystorm being researched right now, as well as ground weapons level 3 for Protoss. 3 Broodlords in production, and just like the amount of DPS that they will be able to conjure up and inflict on Barcode are, just that many Stalkers. I don't think there's any way those Stalkers can blink underneath them and target them down without taking a substantial amount of damage from the Hydras and the Roaches. And the Colossi will be so far behind when the blink happens that, I'm thinking they'll only really brush a small amount of the Roaches and Hydras. And now we have midday basically opting to throw away supply. It looks like he's actually doing this quite wisely, just as he is about to get engaged. There we go. Hydra's in front, but the High Templar are actually doing a lot of damage to them with the storms, and that is a lot of Hydras melting there. A lot of them are orange health. There's only 4 Broodlords back here, and now there's that huge blink forward because the army's been cleared out, and now we see Protoss with a perfectly valid window to attack. Barcode is down by about 10 supply, but at with the present composition that we see, I don't think we'll be seeing Midday remaxing in time to actually hold this attack. Huge semi-defensive blink, more aggressive blink onto this hatchery, kind of using the SimCity to their advantage. All these roaches are burrowed, but the rest of them have kind of regrouped over there at the natural, and now the rest of these are being decimated, and we see Barcode actually taking a lead in supply, a definitive one at that. We have our Zerg back on 3.5 base versus almost 4 full functioning bases, one of them about to be mined dry. And if Barcode really wanted to be extra deadly, he could just pull all the workers off of that base and put them on his 4th right now. The question is, does Barcode know just how far ahead he is? Is he going to go in for the kill soon? I think he knows that he is definitively ahead right now. It's just that both players are really starting to kind of play with the typical Wings of Liberty compositions, if you will. That is to say, we just saw kind of Roach, Hydra, Broodlord. The ideal one would be Infestor, Roach, Broodlord, and it looks like, if I didn't hear that, if I heard that correctly, was there a Dark Templar? No, there was not. There's no actual Dark Shrine. I just heard that. Yeah, and that was it. But here we go. That's a lot of Stalkers right there. They actually have 3 attack, 1 armor. Oh, this is actually quite huge. We have 4 Zealots going into the main to kind of shut down the Hive. And I just don't think, you know, if our Zerg is not entirely conscious of this, he is conscious of it, but I just don't see him holding with the next attack. He doesn't have the necessary supply. Wait a minute. But the unit composition is almost ideal. What exactly is everything that we have here? Oh my god. The Greater Spire was taken down and all of that. Was it not? Yes, it was. It was taken down. So now we have to see a reinforcement with forces that are more viable, and this is actually going to put Protoss so far ahead that he's actually safely able to go to a full Skytoss transition. And I just don't know what to say for Midday. I don't think this is going to work out for him. We just look at his upgrades compared to our Protoss player, and we have to see him do something I want to say is drastic, and by drastic I mean throwing down a Nidus Canal perhaps over here. Both players are maxed out. He's got to find a way to get his macro up. He hasn't put his 4th back down. And speaking of, he just now puts it back down. He's aiming to anyway. Oh, but this is kind of unmannered for our Protoss. He's actually going to put his own right here. And I think he's trying to trip up our Zerg player into kind of engaging that point while leaving his own, I want to say 4th here, kind of exposed. Probe's being thrown away right now, so we actually see Protoss gearing up for the late game. He's actually thinking, okay, well, let me practice my macro. And this is kind of an embarrassing way to play on the Korean server. But it happens to the best of us. I've been a victim of those kinds of games. It actually gives me ladder PTSD, if you will. Okay, and main armies about to engage, and that's actually an aggressive blink forward that we didn't want to see our Protoss get. A good deal of Stalkers actually disappeared and all of that. We only have 1 Broodlord here, and there's a High Templar engaging. The feedbacks are not necessary from them, and there we see Midday calling out GG, well played, with an end supply discrepancy of 95 to 153. Alright guys, thanks for watching. You know, I mean, Midday, this isn't the first time I've casted one of your games, but I want to say, you know, it was definitely one of the better games. We all make mistakes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's good because you lost, but very entertaining to watch. And keep on uploading the replays. For those of you who liked what you see here, just click on the subscribe button. It should have been blinking the entire video. This has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.